I'm going to go over from start to finish everything that I do to catch catfish. The number one thing that I do, or the very first thing that I got to do, is obviously get bait when I get here. Every time I like to get fresh bait, I like to catch the bait right about where I'm at. So as you guys can see out there, it's the big main river channel. And I come back in here to the shallows to throw my cast. Now I look for shallow coves, look for shallow creeks and things. That's where I catch my bait. That's where I come in. I'll throw some bluegill poles. That's where I throw my cast net to catch a lot of shad. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in here and catch some bait first. So let's get on back in here where it's even more shallow and try to get on some bait. Okay, so I got the kids with me here. We're gonna throw this net. I got the bait bucket over there. It's super shallow. I don't know if you guys can see the bottom, but I can see the bottom from where I'm standing. But I come to these coves and stuff in these really shallow places because it's really warm, especially during the summer, and you can find a lot of bait in here because there's algae and stuff that comes up in the water, and that's what these shad eat, is all that algae and stuff. So they're stacked in here, some days better than other. We're gonna see kind of what it's like when we get in here, if we can catch. Sometimes you'll come in places like this and you'll throw, and one throw you'll catch a ton of shad. Other times you'll come and throw and throw and throw and catch 3 shad every 7-8 casts, so, or every throw with the net. So not very good, but we're gonna see what it's like today and get some bait. All right, so let's start throwing. I got my big cast net with me today. This is my 8-footer. Generally I'll bring the 6-footer, but I'm gonna try to hurry up and catch some bait today, hopefully anyway. So I'm gonna just start throwing randomly. Now I haven't seen anything jump in here. I know a lot of guys will come to these coves and they'll not see anything moving around in here. No skipping, no jumping, and they'll think there's nothing in here. A lot of times I'll still find them in here, even though I don't visually see anything on top of the surface.
You got one, Daddy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Not that throw we didn't. So I actually saw one skip right there, so that's a good sign. Nothing.
Yeah, I want to be catfish.
Oh, I gotta get one first. Hold on. I'll let you put it in the bucket, okay? You get one.
Can I put it in the bucket too?
Yeah, if I get 2 of them, I'll let you put one in there too. Still didn't get nothing yet. I'm gonna try to get some fish right here. Oh, we got one.
What?
We got one. We got a couple actually.
We got 3 out there.
Yeah, we got 3 of them, didn't we? 3, 4, 3, I think, 3 or 4. All right, so that was probably, I don't know, about the 7th or 8th throw. Definitely did not get one nowhere near the first throw. Let's hurry up and get these in the bucket.
I don't want to play.
You don't want to touch them? Sissy's gonna touch it. Let me help her.
We got one.
I don't know.
We on there. We got one. We got one.
Yeah, we do. We got one.
Yay!
We
Then
got.
the small one. Yes, we do. We got one right there.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
We got one get big one.
That one's another good size one, ain't it?
I want the big one.
All right, pull the basket over here so we can throw it. Sissy can throw it in there. Take it back there and throw it in the bucket.
Sissy, put it here. Hurry.
Yeah, you made it. Barely, but you made it. It seems to be congregated up against this structure right here in the shallow. So maybe that's a good key for you guys to look for sometimes if they're not scattered out in here like they normally are. They might be congregated in one area, and that stump right there is something that they're kind of hanging around against. Not necessarily right up against it, but just off of it in places. That's where I'm catching all the shad. Nothing else out here. So you can do everything fast enough in your kayak or boat. It's really hard to stay where you want to stay, but if you can actually use your cast net to pull you where you want to go. For instance, I want to go over there. When I pull this in, it's going to pull me over there. If you can keep everything up, keep going really quickly, then you can pull yourself where you want to go and save on your motor, batteries and stuff.
Do you see one?
I don't know. Do you see one?
Yeah.
You do? I don't see one yet.
I
don't see one.
I don't see one. Did we throw one down?
Okay, so now we're getting closer to the... No, I didn't drop no fish.
Yes, I did.
But he said he saw one, but I dropped it whenever I was pulling it in. I don't know about that.
I just see it.
You saw it too? Well, I was the only one that didn't see it. Oh, we do have one in here. We got a bluegill in here.
Daddy!
We have to throw it back.
That was the big one.
You can throw that one back, okay?
Okay. If that might be one, we gotta throw that back.
Yeah, throw it back in the water. We have to catch that one on a fishing pole.
Catch that one on my...
Throw it back out there and we'll try to catch him on a fishing pole next time.
Okay.
Ready?
This one?
Yep. There you go. From time to time.
Is it one?
Yep. We got a couple.
We got a couple?
Yep.
We got a couple.
You see them in there?
Yeah.
That's a good one there.
That's a big one.
Oh yeah, that's a real big one.
Yep. That's Mom. I like the big one. Catch it. Catch it. It's going on my eye. Go catch it then.
Alright, pull the bucket over here for her so she don't lose it. Hold on, let baby pull the bucket over here. Get real close. That's a big one. We don't want to lose that one. Drop it right in there, okay? Don't throw it. Just drop it in the bucket. You want me to get it? Just drop it in the bucket. Don't throw it. Drop it in there. Good job. Alright guys, we're not going to keep boring you over and over. I caught a few more. I don't think I'm going to put it all on the clips every single time we caught them. But we got probably close to 20 in there. Some more cast with just one. Some casts with... Actually, we got 2 casts with 4. So that was pretty good. And then probably over 20 casts with nothing. So it was definitely a little bit of a work to get some bait today. Okay, so I got one of the shad. Normally I cut up shad, but since these are live, I'm going to throw one of these out live. And I'll throw some cut out. So just one live and the rest cut. Save on some bait. Unless they just only prefer the live right now. So basically, how I hook these, I'll show you that. There's basically how I hook them. Make sure you ain't got no scales on the tip of your hook. And you want to be really careful when you cast these. These shad are easy to cast off, hooking them like this. So we got him out there. And actually the step before this that you want to do, I had to hurry up and get that shad out of there before he died. I mean, those shad want to die really quickly when you get them out of the water. But you need a rod holder. I'll show you guys a really important tip on rod holders too real quick. So you take a rod holder, and these are the homemade. If you've not seen a video on how to do these, I have a video on my channel on how to make these. But what's important is when you do any type of rod holders, this rod holder, another rod holder, any type, is you do not set them straight up and down, because it makes it really hard for the fish to pull the line out. Test this for yourself. Put one straight up, pull on your line, and see how hard it is to pull that clicker. Put your rod holder really tilted down really far at a good angle, and see how much easier it is for the fish to pull that line. If you're getting a lot of fish that go to pull your line, you hear rip and it stops, they felt too much and it spooked them. So put this down like this, and it will be a lot easier on the fish to pull it. They'll be able to run with it further, give you more time to get with your rods, and spook a lot less easily. So let me get this in the rod or in the ground, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we're at a really good angle right there with the rod in here, and show you guys what that looks like. So it'll be like that, and it's super easy for the fish to pull a line that way right there. So much easier. So I'm gonna put cut bait on my other two rods, set them beside here. I'm gonna cast one out here and one here, and leave that one there. I got this one here. What we're gonna do is cut him up. I'm gonna cut him up in sections. I'll show you guys kind of the sections I use and how I hook each section. I love this knife right here. This knife is awesome. It's got really good grip. The blade is super thick, makes it really easy to cut this bait. So I'll cut a section of the head. Like so. There's me one piece. Then I'll cut a good midsection. Sometimes if the bite isn't really that great, I'm getting short strikes or they're taking my bait, I'll downsize and I'll go about half of that. So that's a fairly big chunk, and I'll downsize. That's a good tip too. Downsize if the bite's tough. Also, I have a brand new rod, and I've been thinking about getting this for a while. Finally talked myself into getting it. It's a big cat fever rod, and I paired it up with another Abu. But from the bank, this is really rocky, and I've been saying I'm going to do this too. Is I'm going to use one of these dragon weights from the bank, paired up with a, I think, which one is this? I can't remember which one this is. It's not. This might be the Big Bertha. I think it is the Big Bertha. We're going to pair it up with that. Let's hook the head on here. So the head is super simple. What I'll do is come through the bottom of the lip. I'm using a big hook, so I'll come up through the top. And it's important that you have plenty of hook gap exposed and all of that. You guys have seen in my past videos, I've talked about this before. Make sure you have plenty of gap for the fish to get hooked. You don't want to cover up all this stuff, and if the fish take off with it and you go to pull it, there's no way you can get hooked because you got too much bait covering up this gap and the hook point. Also, another thing is the barb too. You want to make sure your barb's exposed, because that's what's going to keep that fish on there after you do get him hooked. And again, something else that I did not do again is you want to make sure you have a rod holder in the ground already. I didn't do that again. Uh-oh, we're getting a bite over here on this one. We're getting a bite. Here we are, we're taking line slowly. Nope, it's speeding up now. So I got that live bait. I'm gonna let him run with it for just a second. Try to hook him here. Yeah, he's stopping with it. And there he goes. Stopped with it again. Just pulling it. This might be a flathead here. So it's a good sign that they're in the deep, even though this one's stopping on me. Set him back down and get this other one situated. I don't even have my bail open on that other pole. If I wanted to try to take off with it real fast, it'd take the whole pole right now. I made a mess too when I seen that fish go. My TWC rod, tangling with catfish. This is one of my favorite rods. I wish that I wish it casted a little bit more weight. It's the only downfall of this rod. So the midsection, what I like to do is come from a lot of people hook from the top. Sometimes I'll hook from the top, but I've found that this bottom section is super tough. Now sometimes I'll still hook to the top, depending on how fresh the bait is. But now it's super fresh and super tough. So I'll go through and then back through this way. Now I've got plenty exposed here, as you guys can see. I got the tip exposed, my barb's exposed, all that good stuff. So you guys can even rip these fins off if you want to. I'm gonna leave the fins on there, but that is super tough right there. The bait stays on really well that way. Same process, actually let me do it right this time. And go ahead and get the rod holder in the ground. So we got all 3 rods in the ground. We're spread out. I'm fan casted. One here, and one there. So I'm spread out from there to there with 3 rods. Now let's wait on a bite. Actually, before we take a bite, we're going to show how realistic all this actually is. We'll try to get that to see. It is 5:43 right now. We're going to see how long it takes to get a bite. Sometimes, well, we already got one little hit. Actually land a fish. I get a lot of hits, a lot of little hits here and there. Sometimes it takes a while to get a fish. Sometimes it just takes minutes. If that one would have kept running, it would have been minutes. I didn't pull no clicker, but I just saw that rod getting a little hit. TWC rod. I'm going to take off with it in a second. Unhook it. Alright, we got a fish on. We got a fish on, guys. Oh no, please don't be hung. Oh, it definitely feels like it's in something. Oh no. I'm definitely having to pull it through something. If I don't get broke off right here, we'll have a fish. Alright, we got him out. Whew. Yeah. Oh, get backed up here. All right, first fish. Yeah, it ain't big. This thing has one of the hardest bites some of these fish do. Here we are, guys. First fish. Let's go check the time. I'm pretty sure we're right at about an hour into this thing. We've had 2 hits on this. Finally, he ran with it long enough. If I would have tried to take that with it barely running, I would have lost that fish because that was a big bait. You have to let them run with this. There's no way this little guy right here would have got hooked if I didn't let him run with it. Wrong way, buddy. Off he goes. Alright, let's go check the time and see how long that took. 6:39. I think it was 5:40 something when we started, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty much we'll just say an hour into it, and we finally got a fish. We had, like I said, 2 hits on that live one and 1 hit on the TWC. No takers until that one finally took off. So guys, that's how it's done right there. I hope this video helped. Now if I wouldn't, I usually give it about, in the summertime you're good. I mean, you can give it two hours or so in one spot, and they're moving a lot. These catfish are moving up and down the water. They'll come to you eventually. Any other time of the year you need to kind of be where they're at, but summertime you can hang out a little bit longer. After that mark, I would be trying different stuff. Move out to that point, like I said, move behind me, move to different spots and see kind of where these fish are. Just because it's hot and they should be deep doesn't mean that they'll always be deep. So move around, and you'll find fish. This is how I do it, guys. Every time I come out, this is what happens. I get bait, put in the time, and you'll catch fish. I hope this video helps. I hope you guys like the video. As always, leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're not, and we'll see you in the next video, guys.